I ask for more life, more dog.
No, too far, yeah. But yeah, I agree. Like it's hard. Like if you don't have the funds, how do you prepare your child or put your child in a position to be able to be successful, right?
Yeah.
And
You gotta learn it and teach it.
And it's ways. Networking, I think, is huge. I think that's like maybe the substitution for money is like not about what you know, about who you know, right? So that's, and I think the internet brings that as well too. So it connects people who don't have much. All they need is a phone and internet.
But then it comes into play like how can you keep their attention on what it needs to be versus all this entertainment.
That's the parents. Because even the people with phones,
it's so easy. It's like let's say on YouTube he only typing in whatever's he need to look up for his homework. Like when he gotta look up a video on YouTube, it's gonna be a few videos or some other stuff that he don't need to be watching, like just waiting for, just baiting him to click on.
So right there, you identify it. One, don't give them access to YouTube or limit the access to YouTube. So
what if it's like a school homework?
What do y'all do together? But like at this house, they're doing school homework. Let's say he's 8, 9 years old. There is a, not to go to the Bible again, but it's cool sometimes.
No, go to the Bible.
There is there's a verse that's like, train up the child in the way he would go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Exactly.
They say you have from like 0 to 7 to form a kid's character. And so from 0 to 7, you teaching that kid what you need to, you putting it in, they're going to kind of be that way. That's why you see a lot of times kids may stray at 13, 15, 16, 18, and then they always whip back around a little bit around that 25, 30 when they're like, oh, wait, all right, my parents weren't perfect, is what you realize around that teenage years. That's why you start rebelling, like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Then at 21, you exploring. 25, you're like, oh wow, it's kind of hidden in. 30, you're like, oh, I see what they were talking about.
Well, circle.
It's some things, some things, And so that's why it's like, I think if you put in the right effort, then you can get the right thing. The problem is if you not working on yourself and you put that in, that's what that generational curse. I agree.
Not putting in the time and effort, because just like you said, man, anything you do, like you research, you put the work into it, like you're going to get something out of it. I actually just made a post the other day that spoke to that. It was stating something about, said, name one person ever that put in the work and didn't get anything out of it, right? Because like people will make excuses for things like, you might not get everything you feel like you deserve or everything you earn, but I have yet to hear of one story, meet one person that actually put in work and something and didn't get anything out of it. Like I just don't believe that happens.
And then even if you put in some type of work, you're gonna get some type of experience out of it.
Something, exactly.
You're really about it.
What,
the 10,000 hour rule? You put 10,000 hours in, you become a master.
Yeah, it takes 10,000 hours to be great.
Let me see how many hours I've been working.
Hey, and then that's what's crazy though, right? That's true. That's how our society, where government or the powers that be, that's how they molded us to be. Like, and it's crazy we saying it as a joke, but it's true.
You in school, that's what they talk about, 8 to 5.
It teach you to be a worker. Everybody.
So like, how do we break out of that mind state,
Education, knowledge from the parents or from whoever the kids,
or just us.
Us.
I think honestly, the internet and the power of like these different tools, especially early on in our generation, like right now, what a lot of people don't realize, or some are realizing, is you had the baby boomers. Baby boomers are like, that they came back from war and they're like, all right, we're done with this. Let's just build an American dream. They did really well. They had I think it's like 60 or 80% of the wealth. Right now, we have a pivotal moment, probably like 5 years, maybe 10 years, to try and, all corporations are trying to get a piece of that. Because they're like, well, we don't want to pass it on to them.
Exactly.
We want to keep this. So you got to find, and government wants a piece and all that. So you got to find cool skills, cool things that you can then pass on to your kids so that you can collect that and help that pass on. That's why it helps where, it sucks sometimes in the black community where like, parents are like, well, I did it. You got to figure out a way to do it yourself. And that's one thing. So that's one thing I've noticed with like the girl I'm dating. She's Indian. So the thing with her is her parents will give her all support. Her parents will give her all support. Right? All support, but they want her to go on a certain direction.
She's Indian.
Whereas us, they'll give you no support, but they don't care where you go. They're like, you just got to get out.
Right? They support you wherever you go, but they're not really.
Wow, he said the last time.
Like, only is supporting if you go X, Y, Z. Doctor, lawyer, exactly.
100%. So it's good and bad. There's good and bad to both communities. But the thing I'm getting at is like for black families, if we could set each other up. You want to set the next generation, right? So
Right.
that's getting to know what trusts are. That's getting to know things, and that's again where it goes back to you understanding what's a trust. You understanding how
Yep.
to keep generational wealth, stuff like that. Yeah, but I think the more skills you have, I mean, I'm saying like if you can learn a language, that's hella good. That's why like it's really imperative you really put your effort into it, and you be smart about it, not just grind to you know your teeth fall off or the wheels fall off, right? So it's like, but no matter what the cards you're dealt, to try and find a way, right? You have your entire lifetime to figure that out, and that's just what that's the job you're given now. Does that make sense? Like there's no excuse, there's no other thing. Just you got to figure it out. And that's kind of how I think. Yeah. So I think it is your duty. If even no matter the cards you're dealt, you can find your way out. Like you can meet somebody, you can talk to someone. Maybe you network. Maybe you don't go out to the club today. Maybe you go over here. Maybe you train. And then you just being trained, someone looks at you like, oh, damn, you look good. How you look fit? What have you been up to? And then boom, that's the conversation. Yeah. All right.
Hey, y'all, so y'all know we getting older, right? So it coming time. Well, we getting younger, older, older, whatever, however you put it. But what is it called? You know you gotta do the when they check your inside, they go through your rectum.
Cavity search.
Nah, your prostate.
Like a prostate.
Yeah.
Or colonoscopy.
Y'all gonna do that?
Prostate, yeah.
I'm not. That's the same thing, ain't it?
Huh?
Colonoscopy, now they stick a camera all the way through to your intestines.
You talking about what I said or what y'all said?
What'd you say? What'd you say?
What y'all say?
What'd you say?
He said cavity.
Yeah, y'all talking about y'all turn 40, right? You gotta go to the
Cavity
doctor.
check is security, ain't it?
Nah,
Yeah, I think they
Oh no,
that's like when
I'm
they.
thinking about soul plane.
I think they talk about cavity.
Nah,
check.
nah.
Hiding something.
I know what they. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm all for it. Whatever.
Now I was saying I wasn't doing that.
You're not gonna do it.
Yeah, I
Why
wasn't
not?
doing that. I'm not doing
You're
that.
not
So
doing
you ain't doing the camera or the finger.
Where's it going?
Hold up, I thought.
Prostate. They
it. He's a fan. I thought he was a
Yeah.
fool.
Man.
They gotta feel it. They gotta feel it. So it depends. Like if it's hard, then it could be.
I feel it myself or something.
I'm not
That's crazy.
I'm not doing it.
And they gotta put their finger in there.
Yeah.
They going up there.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
We had like pause, the huge pause, big pause. Outside of
He's about your fingers.
yeah, I'm straight narrow to answer that question. Yeah, I'm down for the health as well. That's yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm not doing any vaccines or taking anything like that. But outside of like going to the doctor and get physical checks, I'm okay with that.
Hey, when y'all had to get a physical, how did y'all feel when they was like turn your head and cough all the time?
I ain't never tell me to turn my head. They just told me to cough.
No, they say. I guess they say. Sometimes they don't, but a lot of people they say turn your head.
I remember I don't remember any of them but one. It's one I remember happened in Oakland City. And I think the only reason I remember, because this probably was the only time I was a dude, I was a kid. I probably was like 10, 11. It was for football. I had to get a check. And old white guy, I was like 70 something. No, he's not here anymore. Rest in peace.
Talking about,
The only person I remember, like,
he probably come across
it made me
me
so
like
uncomfortable
still
because he was a
kicking.
man. Like, typically, I had women doctor all growing up, but like he was a man. It was the first time he was a white man. I wasn't around white people like that, and I'm like, this is weird. This ain't about to touch me like this. So yeah, that's the only one I really remember. Yeah.
But like, as soon as you go in there, they'll have a little quick conversation with you about 3-4 sentences, and all you hear is stand up. they done felt your heart in your back already. You like, what else you got to do? Drop your drawers. Mama, and drop it like y'all. I'm like, my folks consented to this, right?
In a room.
A stranger, yeah. Is it me and him?
Right.
Drop my drawers.
Yeah, I got to check on it.
But yeah, then you talking about turn your head. What? Well, you got my right testicle, boss. Talking about turn your head. But what?
I mean, we had a change. I remember doing it. I thought we had a change and put that little gown on.
Yeah, they put the gown on. Yeah, with underwear. Yeah.
So what they do to female?
What is it, patch smears? I don't know.
I know.
That's the old, okay.
I don't know if they do it as kids. I don't think they touch kids.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they check the?
Nah, I don't think they touch girls as kids.
No, you know what? They do. They do check the females, but I don't know how young they do. And the reason why I say that, because I remember, and y'all probably remember this, it went viral when T.I. daughter was about to get one, and he was like either no or he got to be there or something like that. I don't know if y'all remember. Yeah, it went viral.
It's familiar, bro.
Yeah. His daughter, I don't know her name. I think it's older. Well, he has two now, but the light skinned daughter that he is older now. But she was a teenager. She was like, no, I don't think she was, but it was something around. I think she was around 15, 16 or something, if I'm not mistaken. It went viral because people was like kind of get at him about it, like saying like. He's doing too much.
If she's administrating, well, she should be probably about that time.
Yeah.
I wonder if they start.
Maybe it starts, maybe then. Yeah, it probably starts when they get that period.
Yeah, I really don't know. Actually.
Y'all think like when y'all when you with your wife and she started going through menopause, y'all think y'all gonna be able to just stay sane like the way the world is, what all you deal with outside, how you go to work?
Yeah. I think by that time.
By the time, exactly.
Yeah, that won't be until like 50, 60s. I mean, I
thought it happened like earlier than that.
I mean, it's possible, but it's very rare. Yeah.
Not supposed to.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, ain't supposed to happen until late 50s, probably 60s.
Yeah.
In that range. Yeah.
I know somebody that act like they go through theirs right now.
Well, I think emotional regulation, that's one thing. That's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know. That's I think there is a big difference, and I'm learning this too, between the way men think and women think. And you can see the polar opposite.
It's emotional and logical. It's
simple as that.
It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Bruh.
It is a spectrum, though.
Bruh, I get so mad because what's crazy about Instagram, it give you answers sometimes. Like, they have posts stating that, like, women go off emotions, men go off logic, and then they kind of they go into description or detail. So, and you see it. It's like, she tripping off, she defending how she feel.
Oh, all the time.
She like, bump what's wrong or what's right. Yeah. You wrong, because you got me feeling like this.
Yeah, you made me.
And it's like, you're feeling like that because you did some shit and mad how I reacted. And it got you mad. And then they call us manipulative.
Yeah.
When, what the hell is that?
Dismissal of their feelings.
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes it be like, I'm still gonna fuck with you. Like, it just, let's just be honest here and clear it so I can stop thinking about it.
But that's where,
because if it come out, I can't say nothing else. If we say everything, I can't say nothing else. Now I gotta deal with it. Now I'm at a point where I ain't gotta bring it back up. You see what I'm saying? I ain't got to trip. I can be over it. Or I can choose to start to get where I ain't going to care about it. I ain't going to care about it.
Yeah.
Then eventually they'll get to, I ain't going to care about it or you.
You sound like therapy.
Yeah, person.
You see what I'm saying? I ain't nobody try to get
like that emotion.
And especially if you don't have emotions, like you're not emotional, like for the most part, probably unless you're going through your own love, but for you're not really emotional. So it's like, why you acting emotional right now? It's like, I'm just like, girl, I need a conversation.
But look at it like, so that's what makes like that being the ultimate warrior battle between the man and woman, right? Is communication. It's communication, because we're speaking from two different points of view. We're speaking from a logical point of view, right? Like, you did X, Y, Z, so I reacted in X, Y, Z, right?
They still don't get that.
It's correct, but because they're not speaking or thinking from the perspective of us. They're not thinking from the perspective of, but X, Y, Z happened, so this occurred, right? That's where there's lack of accountability sometimes. That's where there's no honesty sometimes, because it's not honest to them. They're speaking from how they feel, what you did make them feel, and that's really the most important. That's the most valuable to them. And so that's where the disconnect is. We don't agree with their perspective. They don't agree with our perspective. And so the maturity comes in place when you either recognize that and you agree to disagree, or one of you can see the other perspective and find fault in what you did and take ownership.
Yeah.
That's what
it ends up, the men gotta just be like, it's my fault. Like,
yeah, lots of
like,
okay.
Well, you look at the objective, like, if
I was
pushing, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, the same way as an objective. It's like, okay,
keep pushing.
I like, like, when I'm arguing or when I'm debating something, it's because I'm trying to prove I'm right? Yeah. And if I know I'm right in this argument based on my merit, that's all I need. I don't even have to argue anymore. So if I know she's arguing at me because she feels a way, right, and it's not even based on her saying I did anything, I don't even have to argue anymore.
Yeah. Part of that, though, I will say, it's kind of like what you mentioned earlier, where it's like devil advocate.
Yeah.
And I like it too, because also it helps me challenge my own. And so part of it, I will say, like, I won't give up, but I will be like, all right, hey, well, this is where I'm coming from with this, and I try to be as articulate as I can and understand where she's coming from. So I look at it like, yeah, you're building a bridge, and it don't matter how that bridge is built. It could be built out of wood, brick, whatever, however they like to walk across that bridge. You build it how they want. I feel like it's easier to build a bridge how other people want than to force everybody to think how you want.
I agree.
And so I think if you can reach across that bridge, understand where they're coming from, even if it's flawed, try and figure out like, hey, do you think that possibly you're feeling this because you want to spend more time with me or something like that? So now you're showing me this through this way, and that's also getting to know your girl, and that's
exactly.
So, but yeah, I think it kind of comes out, and it's tough because I mean I'm thinking like, man, I want to like, there's a nail in her head. Just take the nail out. She's like, oh, but it hurts. Yeah. I'll think that. So it's like it's stuff like that. It's like, so you recognize like, okay, I understand it hurts, but I believe the next step would be, do you want to, or like, are you here for a solution, or you just want to?
She just wants you to listen.
And throw another monkey wrench in there. It's like, it's not like we're emotionless.
Yeah.
Because if we were emotionless, it'll be easy for us to have these conversations.
Like,
but we get frustrated and angry because we have emotions.
It's not even that because listen to this. I get what you're saying, but it's more so. Let's say if another girl, it was a problem. It was the same problem with another girl that wasn't your main or your one. You wouldn't care at all.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
No emotion.
So it's like this person that you choosing to be loyal to, like this the one I care. I'm putting everything on the line. And it's like, which goes into my next question. Does it matter what they think when you're in argument?
And what's the context on that?
Like let's say how you was like, when she rebuttals, she's more so, she's going on about emotions and you got me feeling like this.
Right.
Versus you're just like, I'm right. Well, not even I'm right. It's just you did this and you're not admitting to it, or
you're not recognizing it.
Yeah, you're not recognizing the problem. And then let's say, because we admit to our stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We admit, we say, I know I did this. I just want you to say you did this.
Yeah.
They're not hearing that. It's like, and this is just to, it's like the apology. Like, I recognize what I did. So now that we recognize it, we can try our best to not do this no more. But if I can't see that you don't recognize it,
that's good.
It's like, now it's like, I know that we're going to repeat this same problem.
Probably so, yeah.
So please recognize it. Because you showing me right now that you're not going to recognize it. So does it matter what they think?
In that context, yes. Because I wouldn't want to continue to repeat the same thing because it's not going to work. I'm going to continue to find myself in unhappy situations, right? Yeah. So it does matter what you think in that context.
Yeah, that's kind of like, but that's what dating's for, I think. I think that's where you're going out there, you're like, hey, you're cute. So physically I'm attracted to you, and we seem to vibe cool. So let's try and, get to know each other. And that's where you go on your dates, you slow it out, you go meet places. And then when you get into a relationship, that's when you're like, yo, you actually a dope person. That's when you start seeing all the skeletons in the closet come on out and the arguments that come out, the honeymoon phase gone. So then you start talking to her like, hey, can you actually deal with conflict? Can you have you dealt with, let's say, trauma, whatever you want to call it, of your past? And if you feel like they haven't and you see the invalid cycle, then that's like, hey man,
you gotta choose what you want to deal with.
I'm an empath, I love you and I want the best for you, but I can't be with you. And that's where then you make that step and you move on.
Ooh, that'd be so hard.
It is hard.
It's so hard. Because he just described it. You built all that time, you put in all that work and energy, and now you have this commitment.
It could just be something you don't want to lose.
Yeah, like
and then it could be that you're not the player cat to where I can keep this and then still do all this. It's just like, I just want this.
Yeah, correct.
Damn, like you can get right. You capable of getting right. You see what I'm saying? So
if you don't want to, it's kind of like what J. Cole said. You know what I'm saying? Don't save her.
Oh, she don't want to be saved. Yeah.
If she ain't trying to be saved, if she keep jumping back in the water, you like, I just took you out of this crocodile. I was like,
oh no, hey,
put it back in.
I ain't gonna cap you down. I'm gonna have to learn my lesson 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No cap.
I think that's good in some. It does account to like your personality and the person you are too. Where it's like you're faithful, you're loyal, you're one of the people that like, hey, I'll ride with you. You say you want to take this step, let's take this.
Yeah, like as long as you saying it, like once you say it's over with, my mind click. Yeah, I'm out of that whole little phase. No. But like if a person just, well, I want this, like. Shit, I want it too.
I think that's partially like protecting your energies in some aspect too. That goes on that line because I think this happens in our community a lot. At least I can see or observe is that like we're super loyal to people, but it's people that not necessarily have proven or are respectful of that loyalty. Because sometimes someone did them wrong that they thought they were loyal to, and then they think of you that way. Because if you notice, like sometimes it's I know we talked about it with we went to that bowling alley thing. My brother was just talking and stuff. But it's like sometimes when you're in environments where you feel it tense and everybody got each other like, you trying to play me? You trying to play me?
Yeah.
You know, you trying to rob me? You trying to rob me? And everyone's like that, so everyone just respects each other. And it's all tense. But why be in that environment, right? You're just like, hey, let's calm down. Like, there's no blood. You know, there's no man in between. And so like, I think it's so like we're highly loyal, but to a fault in some sense, where like we'll put up with certain things that we shouldn't, then it makes us raw, and then when we move on to the next person, we move on that because
and we and we kind of like taught that too because we were told that our relationships have arguments, all of them fight, like that's what makes it strong, and right, and so I have a kind of a dilemma in thought with that because just to tie this into something I saw on Instagram last night, actually. It was this lady, I don't know her, one of the Instagram famous people, and she made a statement. She said that she doesn't argue. Like the first time she recognizes that person wants to argue or it gets to that level, she's out of there. Like, first time, like she said, just it's not a thing. Like she said, she's going to live her life with whoever she's supposed to be with forever without argument. Like we can agree to disagree, but that's to the extent it goes. Like the first time she's out, and so on surface level, I get what she's saying. I 1000% disagree. I don't think it's possible that she will ever meet somebody and that's going to be happy. And that's another thing. So it could be semantics. I can give semantics of like, what do we mean by argument? What do we mean by debate? Whatever. But
so shoot at you.
Right. Like so, I'm like, but from the comments and reading the comments and whatnot, because Ian from Earn Your Leisure has spoke on it. He the one who posted. That's how I saw it. And I saw the comments and like I said, my dilemma is. I get it. Like, I agree that you shouldn't have to go through trauma to be in a happy relationship. I don't think you have to go through those things to be in a successful relationship. However,
but
I don't think you can avoid all conflict to the point where the first time there is some thing that makes your blood boil, you're out. Like I don't we expect that.
And then
exactly, that's the world we live in now. It's like the first sign reduces.
Some people they draw in like that trauma, or they're just like that matches their vibration.
Yeah,
like they probably grew up
something lovers or something.
They've been seeing it. Yeah.
No, that's true, man.
And it's not even, it's just in them. It's not on them. It's like in them, like, and they don't even know it's in them.
It's their makeup.
See, that's difficult though. Do you help or do you avoid? Because if you don't have that tough skin and you ain't right yourself, they gonna pull you down.
It's gonna. I feel like the way the Most High God, whoever believe in, I feel like the way they made this earth, I feel like it's perfect. So there's gonna be some people that's gonna come around and help, or there's gonna be a situation to happen to help that person.
True.
To realize, because like I think before we all get a due date that may come too early because of our decisions, I feel like you get a sign like to slow down the change. I feel like you get some type of light, because it been plenty times where I got like a little epiphany and then just got right all of a sudden because I knew I was heading downhill or something like that. So, and I feel like some people don't catch it, or just things may be too lit at the moment because they don't sit in silence because things too loud. They don't get that voice that come to their head,
or they don't recognize it when it happens. Like
exactly.
Some people like don't speak that language. Right? Like they never learned that second language.
You know, it's crazy. It's like it's particularly what you're kind of hinting at too. Is like so I have a kid I train right now, and so one thing I'm practicing, I'm building my youth mentorship section of my company, and then something I've been playing around with too is I had him watch or read the Alchemist. It's a really good book. Y'all probably all heard of it. It's pretty popular. Super short too. I think if you listen to it, it's like 4 hours, maybe 3.5. I think it's 4 exactly. 3:58 to be exact. But basically talks about a young boy. He goes on, he's finding his, he wants to go out and travel the world, and he's told of a treasure, and that makes him go out. He travels the world. He ends up just traveling the world, seeing a bunch of different things, and he ends up coming back. He ends up meeting different people. But one thing he did learn on his journey is that he learned to speak the language of the universe. So like different omens, different signs, different things like that. So I think it's a really cool book in the sense of, now reread it because he read it, and so I was talking to him about it and all that. And so it's just kind of cool to think, because partially what you said, the language, which I know you were hinting at something else, but it's like, yeah, to be able to speak the language, to see when those things come, to know when you need to make a move, like, this feels uneasy, I shouldn't be here, and then to really like, all right, fine, I just believe. I won't do this, I won't go there, yeah.
West End situation. Even though I didn't know, but I picked up. Yeah, I can kind of tell.
Oh yeah, no, you can. I kind of.
Oh no, it wasn't that crazy.
We essentially drove up there, I believe, and then we.
The whole story, we skipped school.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Tri-City Day.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Skipped school. He just your post don't watch. Fuck.
No, you can.
Yeah. So like.
We tell them the stories after.
Yeah. So he decided to tag along with me, asking what I was going to do. I was just going to do some extracurricular activities.
Okay.
So I had my brother Bally. I always link up with him. That was like my right hand man. We'll just move around the city together. So I went and linked up with him because he was the only one I knew that wasn't in school at this time. So linked up with him. Talked to him for a second. Then me and Matt walked off. And then another person that was with us, we all walked off. And next thing you know, around this time, West End, like there was a few other stores, additional stores along the line of the street. Yeah. So across from the mall. Yeah. So like that was lit. That was
right
like
by Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, to the right of that. Yeah. So like folks that's who they are now, they was them then. Yeah. They was them people, them individuals.
Yeah.
So boom, a fight break out. Just a big old fight. And so my knowledge, I know they do this. It done been guns pulled. I've been here already.
Yeah.
So my counterpart and the person that was with me, that was with him, they took off. And then I laughed, but then I had to think like, that is dangerous. Like this the streets. Like this is nobody over here corny or like these folks on the block. So it's just like things could have went left.
Yeah.
But and then it was just like I'm laughing, we driving back.
Yeah.
Just
you know how
fun. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything fun. But it was just a wake up call to me later. But it was hilarious at that time. I can't really go into too much detail. But it was hilarious at that time.
Now it's interesting, you know what I'm saying? Like at Tri-City, it's the first time I've ever seen a teenager pregnant in person.
We had so many.
Oh, she got knocked out. She got to a point, wild pregnant. I'm talking like 7 months. I was like,
we had some got the frame pregnant.
Man, where am I? And then I don't really see it on the news and stuff like that. But then, same there. First time I actually saw. I mean, we fought in high school, but it wasn't
like real fight.
It was like, man, I'm upset. I'm gonna push you.
So, how was it when you got how was it when you got to fight on the basketball trip?
You got to fight.
So like, it was.
That was interesting.
It was everybody. So it was like we were at a hotel. And we were all down there in Florida for like some tournament. There's other teams in the hotel.
That's funny.
We were the only ones who brought our cheerleaders. And some of the guys were dating girls on the cheerleader. So then
I remember
those dudes tried to talk to the cheerleader, and then I guess we got word of it, and everybody wanted to fight. So I popped my head out, and the big dude, 6'8", I'm only 6 foot. Dude, 6'8", he talking, and I guess I ain't gonna say no name. But then one of our guys, he go over there, he's 6'4", probably 6'5". He go over and hit him, and then it just break out. Then you just see people peeling out, and then one out of rooms down the hall. I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And so essentially, I turned to my left. They had some point guards who were around my height. I'm going.
No smart, don't leave you.
They're like, well, I don't want to do that. Do we got a fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Everyone just throwing hands, and then Chris threw it, punched the wall. And back then, like this hotel apparently had like metal walls that sent you with like wallpaper on. He broke it.
Chris was probably just knocking stuff left or right.
Big dude, bro, back in high school. And that was back before like basketball players lifted. That was the thing. Like when we were kids, we never lifted. That wasn't the thing to do. So I think right when we started leaving, basketball players started lifting.
And so like,
I see this moment.
so like,
That was good.
Yeah.
so as in coming up, right? I done heard stories. I guess I was too young. I wasn't really around, but I done heard stories about how you know just pop off sometimes. So maturing in age, what did you learn or what happened to kind of to give you the time you need to think, or you take the time you need to think, or just to be calm, or just to change just all together?
That's a good question. So, not to try to like sound complex or try to be profound or anything, but I am who I am, right? And so I think knowing who we are is probably one of the most important things we can give ourselves. So, key word you said was change. What was changed between then and now with me was not even really me, but more so just my actions. I'm still the same person in the sense of back then I was aggressive, right?
Yeah.
But I was aggressive in the wrong way, right? I was aggressive violently or in the streetwise or women, whatever the case is. Like now I'm more aggressive in the business sense, right? I'm more aggressive in my 9 to 5. Like so I still possess those same characteristics. I just channel them to a different avenue, right?
So no matter what it is, it's channeling the
who you are,
the emotion.
Yeah, the emotion, the skill, the passion, whatever it is. You do that in the right aspect, right? So like if you hear some businessmen, right, who are like cut and dry, done it the right way. They were born, built companies, the Mark Cubans of the world, right? They will say you have people like Big Meech, who could be a Mark Cuban if he put his business acumen and smarts in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's the difference of what I was, Big Meech, to Mark Cuban, right?
First sailboat, bring it on back.
Exactly. What really what was I doing? So back when I was doing all that stuff, it was me just not knowing how to get to where I want to get to, right?
Yeah.
And so again, that's why I stayed on. Like I knew I wanted to be successful. I knew I wanted to have my own home. I knew I wanted to have cars. I knew I wanted to have a family. I knew I wanted to have kids. I knew I wanted to travel the world, right? But I didn't know how to do it. So the stuff I knew how to do was making money selling drugs, making money shooting dice. So I did those things. I was pretty good at it. I still love shooting dice to this day. Yeah. However, guess what? Now I can go to a casino and shoot dice legally.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have to worry about the trouble with it.
More money.
And make more money, right? I don't have to worry about trouble.
Or lose.
Losing my life or things like that. So again, it's just knowing how and rubbing elbows, getting the right spaces to do things. And so that's really what changed. And I would say what triggered that or allowed me to get in a different space, and I just had this conversation with my youngest brother. And I preach this to death. I just hate that I learned it so late. And it's so simple with college. College was the greatest experience for me. That was like, that's the ultimate change in my life.
Yeah.
Right? That was the ultimate change. He said,
The seeing the people, the knowledge, everything.
it was so that it was being able to have like all this energy, all this passion, all this drive to accomplish and be great at something, right?
Yeah.
But in the positive way. So I was always smart, right? But after high school, like where you go?
Exactly.
Like where you go? So if you not going to college, you're not going to work for you, which I wasn't doing either one. Then you're on the streets. So it's the wrong place. Yeah, so when I seen my buddies like D, Trap, they went to college straight out of high school, right? And these are the guys I was hanging with in school.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. These guys graduated with. That's how we're together today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they went off to college and immediately after school, and I see the life there.
That's right.
Right. I'm like, oh man, they doing great. They having fun in school. They got women. They like traveling. They dressing up in suits and stuff. I don't consider myself like dressed. So I'm like, dang, I'm inspired.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to college and I experienced those same things. I'm like, this is it. Like this is where I was supposed to be the whole time. And thankfully, I was able to get there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, before anything.
Do you think it's ever too late to go?
Never. I went to school late. I started school at 22 when people were graduating.
I'm still going back to school.
Yeah.
I still want to. I think I'm gonna go when I'm 40.
I want to, but I done got so soaked into the hustle that like
I would say
I don't feel like I had the time, and if I do take the time, I gotta take that.
so. This thing to help my youngest brother today. I promote school, like just generally going to college, like any random college, undergrad for 4 years. If you like don't know what you want to do, right? Or if you don't have a foundation or something already, like if you just like don't know, you just outside, like I was, you can go there, then you figure it out once you get there, right? It's a safe place to think.
Yeah, you'll bump into somebody doing something.
Exactly. But like you, who've experienced life, who has passions for certain things, I would more so, when I say school, I'm leaning on education and go education.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus like,
Sure.
wait the time, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my mind on anyway. Because I was about to also mention like, if you ain't thinking college like trade is also
Exactly.
a good route.
Exactly.
Also like even like now, right? I realize like even though now it's getting to where now let me find a trade. But back then, I was presented plenty of opportunities to look up a trade and to figure out what you want to get into. And then knowing that if I would have did that, had this many years in this freaking trade, whatever it was, I would have went up, and you would have been making whatever you want to be making right now.
But like, you were a plumber, right? And you were like, oh, when I turn 18, I'm gonna become a plumber. And what, 10 years down the road? No, but barely.
That's real.
Like,
they do.
I'm like, it's like,
who knows that? Yeah, you know what chooses to be.
Let me keep doing this thing for 10 years. Which, again, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's actually great. Especially like truck driving, things like that. Sometimes that can get you in good positions and places. Especially anything with opening a company, I think is awesome right now. Because you're not gonna get generational wealth unless you open a company. Unless you're the VP of
Right, and idle time is the devil time. Just like you said when we first came in, which we know to stand out the way. That's very important. You don't understand. That is extremely important. Situation like this can happen to anybody any given time. How many people we know that's not here anymore, or there's damage, or anything that happened because they was in the wrong place at the wrong time, just not staying out the way. And that doesn't mean not going anywhere, not hanging out, but it's like you say, this is a tense situation. I'm not even having fun. Why am I here?
Exactly.
We all got straps in a club, and the women's supposed to be dancing. We supposed to be drinking.
And the women ain't dancing.
We all big macho men. We don't like each other. Why are we here? Like, what is the difference? So like, I'm like that. Like, the risk and reward don't weigh out to me.
I ain't gonna. So look, I can. What I say is, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, how you enjoyed it?
Because I grew up watching like Paid in Full and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I was running around with a few different crews, but my main crew was DC.
Yeah.
So it was like they was doing music. So I got a chance to witness some of that before that died out. You see what I'm saying? Then it became something else. But also running with other people, just being cool with other people, running around with other artists that I probably be cool with just individually, or a family member know them and I'm just, however it go.
Yeah.
That was a time to be the center of attention in front of the whole city and just vibing out, doing something that you all was around when it was created, or just you get the whole the behind the scenes whole we in the black truck just back in the day, or just 30 cars deep. Like when that Hold Up song was coming out, like I was rolling around with them a few times, like and then seeing how everything developed. Like you seen Lil Baby coming up, like he was behind it, he was around too, he was young with us,
right?
So it was exactly, but you know, just like everything, like even Cap G, like just seeing how everything turned out in the future.
That's awesome.
I didn't see that back then. You see what I'm saying? Then sometimes you may look at it, they may start off, you may be like, that shit was alright, but then they don't give up.
Yeah. And
then that shit becomes something crazy. Now you just like, boy, I want to see you shine. Yeah. So it's just like, because I done rub shoulders with you coming up.
Yeah.
So it's just like now just seeing all that should just be a hell of a feeling. And then I can call DC on Fly. Like one time I did that for some kids. Yeah. They went crazy and they still remember that to this day. Yeah. When he first was coming up. So it just be like little things like that where you make a difference in other lives, or just where this situation is making a difference in your life, building you up in the inside. Yeah. Now you walk around with your chest out. or people done seen you. Now you just man, you had your moment. Cause every man want a moment.
Yeah, the attention is a drug for sure.
Yeah,
agreed.
And it's not even that. It's just you need a little to make to let you know your confidence there, or just make sure you know where you at. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you need somebody to tell you like, boy, you really that nigga, boy.
Yeah,
for sure. Like it's not even about attention. It's just like
those positive words of affirmation.
Yeah,
we definitely need to hear that for us.
Yeah,
because we probably like last on totem pole.
Yeah.
We don't get complimented much. We don't get told like
exactly.
Good job.
I would say like I'm not very good at accepting compliments.
Me neither.
I love it. Tell me all that. Yeah, I love it. Boy, DM me. Oh man, it make my heart smile. I love it. Yeah, it get me through my day. And the time I'm feeling away, you know what? Let me go look at me messages.
Not even that. It may be something simple as like I probably was at a time just walking out the house in shorts and a t-shirt every day. Then I probably look at his page, he suited and booted. I'm just like, boy, this shit clean. Ain't nobody else dressing like this on my page. It's just like, what? And then he's switching it around, like the socks, just whatever it is, the hats, jerseys, whatever it is. And then it just like, let me call my boy and tell him, boy, that shit fly, boy. What you doing to like? What are you doing differently to put your style together? Not saying I don't dress nothing like him. I ain't finna copy him, but just I'm finna take something from this and put it to my game.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
That means a lot to us. Like,
yeah, for sure.
And I make sure him doing that, like make sure it stays in my mind to do it. I do it.
I do it all the time.
Yep.
I'll give it. I just be like, for myself, I just be like, hey man, I appreciate it. I always appreciate it. I always appreciate it, but I always like to keep that locus of control internalized.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.
Yeah, you don't want to overcome you.
I neither let it hurt me nor boost me. It's more like that. But I appreciate it always.
And then with me, speaking on the positive words, like if it wasn't for like my mentor or like my brother, my engineer like Guap, like when we used to record music, like back in the day, we used to be saying all these things that some of the stuff he was doing, some of the stuff he wasn't doing.
Yeah.
But he would always be like, bro, you're a good person, but you don't need to be doing that, or you're not doing it. Yeah. And then like you need to go work with you look like you could work with some kids or something. Just even though I was already doing it, because he was like, you say you already do it, like just saying little things like that what kept me on the right track. Cause trust me, it was leaning towards that. But it was just like them one or two people, and then you start hanging around positive people. I always tell you, like, I start hanging around you more often. So like it's just like when you hang around, I have to mix it up. I have to get in there.
I'm the same way. I get you.
I had to get on that. I had to play around on the devil playground for a little bit. Not saying it like that. No, I'm just saying because. But it's like, but I know where I want to be. I know who I'm with. Like all that type of stuff, but it just.
What's happening sometimes?
Yeah, I came from it.
But I'm with you.
So it's like.
I'm not gonna go.
It's like, but I gotta run. You see what I'm saying?
I might go to like we have a block party. Okay, that's fair. But
knowing I don't need to be there,
and I'm gonna just pull up on a random Thursday, just kick it.
Yeah.
Nah, that's the one that.
I'm nerd. I don't listen to music. I do listen to podcasts. And
you say you don't listen?
I don't listen to no music.
Ooh.
I barely. Like if I listen to music, it might be when I'm training.
No music.
No music. It's just like
not if you get the rap and hip hop. Like I'm just a music.
Alright, so like
I stopped watching TV.
Yeah.
Life is a little bit more peaceful without the TV. I'm probably about to cut the music off in a second.
I mean, I go in and out with Instagram.
Yeah.
I go in and out.
Nah, I'll be on Instagram.
I
see memes like
Yeah, cut out social media. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Social media, I bounce in and out. Sometimes like I want it, sometimes I don't. But music. So
tell me why. That's
I like all music. I listen to French music. I listen to Arabic music. I listen to all kinds of music when I did. But then after a while, it's like, what is benefit is bringing sometimes? And I will say I'm a very logic, so I'm always trying to learn new things. And so it probably is good to bounce around. But I do like that aspect of where I'm like, okay, let me listen to podcasts. Let me listen to philosophy. Sometimes I listen to different things about Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, all those. So I like to.
So it's more so like allocating your time. You put more so to podcast versus just not listening to music.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking
it's
like,
more allocation.
oh, okay.
It's not like I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, I want to, yeah.
It's just like, also I used to go to Kennesaw, so I would drive like an hour.
Okay.
And so being an hour listening to music for an hour, it's like, all right, man, this gets repetitive. You know, like there's, I don't know how much music I can listen to every single day for an hour, right? But I get annoyed by it. So I think it ends up turning like, all right, well, let me just be a little useful with this time. And so now it's
I like it. Okay. I understand. Thank you.
But I will say, I do not listen to much rap.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like there's two things to it. I'll listen to it while I train because I feel like it puts you in a certain mindset. And I think that is helpful at times, but I think it's not good. I don't care who's fucking who. I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
I don't care about.
That's a crazy place right now. I know they say rap always been bad, but I don't know. It's crazy right now.
Hey, these lyrics are something serious.
It's crazy right now. It's different, right?
Man.
As an artist, like, it's different now, right?
So look. No, look. I'm not one of those music heads where I can tell you like who the first person and all this. But I know I'm into what I'm into, and I'm in deep with a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So with me, I'm not into the fakeness of it.
Yeah.
I'm into the storyline, how people coming, like how they doing their stories, like how Drake saying that he fed you some fake news and you went for it, so now we know that all your stories false. But like if you're the deep thinker, you think about like the law, like how do I make something to where I can get off on it?
Yeah.
If you provide something that's false, then I can throw the whole thing out. But then it's like how this person come in, or he make an anthem. It's just different things, different ways. Or you mentioned the family, the son. You go down the father, the mother to the son. Just I'm into how people put it together.
So you ain't a movie.
I don't care what's going on. I care how
they create an art.
How you sat back.
Yeah.
You cut that beat on loud
And made
and you close your eyes and visualize how you doing it.
I get
hard. Yeah.
Because you doing it from nothing.
Yeah,
That's true.
Like you to build a house, you need like you need to start a foundation or something.
Yeah.
With that, like the beat and all that is the foundation, but we talking about the thoughts.
I admire any artist when it comes to either painting, making music. When I tell you, like, I have zero creative skill bone in my body when it comes to that. Like, I would love to be a rapper, but when I can't even catch the beat, like, I'm real boom, like, for y'all to be able to do that, and then, like, come up with it from nothing, both of y'all.
It's practice. It's practice.
Yeah, I'm trying.
It's practice.
Yeah, I'm freestyle. I
write poetry.
I can't make beats. I can't do nothing.
It ain't even, cause I wasn't even gifted to where I caught on to it right away.
Yeah.
Like I had to go through the motions of getting taken off a song and then wanting to get better, or you around it and you want to be a part of it because you feel like you love it more than they love it.
Yeah.
And then so just growing up like that, I'm leaving school. I'm not going to college for this. You see what I'm saying? So this is something I'll forever do. I ain't pressed about making it in there, but this is something I will just do and just put it out just for me.
I get that.
You see what I'm saying? Or people that in my circle that are just like us, we'll go listen to it. You see what I'm saying?
Not like that, and I think that's the more authentic way too of doing it too, where you just doing it, and if you come out, it's kind of like similar. It's off topic, but Marcus Aurelius, apparently, he's like to do with stoicism and such, partially. He basically was just writing a letter to himself, and now he has like one of the best books out there because about philosophy. Because he just wrote about himself. He just talking to himself basically, and he wrote out. He didn't want to publish nothing like that, but it ended up being like one of the best books out there that you can listen to. Yeah, it's pretty.
Nah, I'm saying he just gave me an idea like that too.
I've been doing that since like college days. Like I have notes on my phone.
Yeah.
It's been right.
Oh yeah. Oh, so one thing
You can get that published and sell it.
Yeah. I have some stuff.
Yeah.
You can get that.
Yeah, like it was with the intentions. Okay, one day of writing a book, but like that has been so long gone.
Oh yeah. But you probably have material.
Yeah.
See, something somebody told me was, because I was talking about writing a book like that one time, and he was just saying like, who are you to write that book? But I don't personally think you have to be somebody to write a book.
No.
But he did talk me out of that moment. But the thing is, I should have persevered. Like, I should have just stayed on my own little thought.
Still can.
But yeah, for sure, I'm definitely gonna write a book. But now I'm stuck on the ideal of why not try to be something of some like like get something where I have some type of accolade or something like that.
To talk about so people you can track people in.
Not even that. Just say I completed something.
Okay.
Like,
Well, it's always cool. If you, what if you could have filmed all the times you were hooping in the gym, like all the time back in the day, and then you were creating your story, and then let's say I don't know, let's say you become a billionaire if that's what you consider success, and they could have filmed everything as your kid. You could write your notes, say, "Hey, Demetrius at 8 years old. Like, what do you think about this?" And you were able to give him a story, and you were to play that back.
you done said my real name.
Yeah, I seen
You done said my real name.
I seen Destroying. I seen the video. Y'all know Destroying, right?
Yeah.
The YouTuber, the punter, right? Kicker. And so I just seen the video of him yesterday, like of material throughout his entire life and telling the story. I'm this kid from Costa Rica, XYZ, and they got like, videos, movies, and pictures, and I'm like. Yeah, that's dope to like archive all the information, right? To be able to put it together, make a story.
My dad does that. I think he takes notes
dope.
every day on like Word or Notes or something. I remember he said he was doing it as a kid. He used to do it every single day for like the last 30 years or something like that. So I wonder if he has all that.
Could you imagine? Like to just read that. Like,
He'll be like, "Oh, I changed the dishes, or I did this, I did that." I seen him write it one time. I was like,
that's crazy though. Like that's not crazy, but that's dope.
I don't love it. Like, I love coming across like old pictures I've never seen before.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's cool.
Like, that's cool. So you have to read, you have to see. Yeah.
Hey,
that's the cool thing about nowadays, like with social media technology and everything.
You can't keep that.
You can keep it.
So like, do y'all still like sit back and like visualize those times?
Oh, 100%. I enjoyed my childhood. I'd say for the most part, we had so much fun. I can tell you a story. We had this chimney at our old place, and we all stayed downstairs in the basement. And it was like a bunch of beds and bunk beds, since like all of us. And the carpet was actually red. And we had this one chimney that I don't think we ever used, no. And the edge, the last corner brick, was disconnected somehow. It got loose.
Yeah.
So we knew it was, and we would always leave it on. We kept picking it up, put it right there. So whenever we did hot lava, the floor is lava, we try to push each other. We would throw marbles at each other, balls, everything you can think of. And we would always step that one person. After a while, a few hours of running, to step on that and fall every time. Every time, yeah. So it's always like a little trap, little mine right there.
And that kind of, that's like along the laws of manifestation, because the whole time you're really thinking about that brick the whole time. Hoping, and it tells you when you do this, it's like hoping you don't run into it, and then you done hoped yourself into it.
Tracked it, you have to somewhere to thinking about it.
And you know it's there.
Yeah.
And like what you would say, but I forgot. Like, I forgot. And you didn't forget.
Yeah,
like, it just, and then what's crazy is like now so much things coming out, like I don't know if it's just folks just good with technology on the internet, but they talk about dimensions, how like we can be in this dimension right now and then somehow something will change, like well you'll make a decision, or you may, I don't know, I don't know.
So part of the,
because they'd be like, if you go back at this time, this you say that, this you say that, this you say that, and this shit no longer say this and no longer say that.
Oh my God, what is the terminology for it?
I know what you're talking about.
I gotta get it. It's
Please.
I'm thinking of one thing, but I don't want to take it.
we just talked about this. Can I Google it? Yeah, I'm
Go ahead.
Okay.
Or while you're doing that, so so the idea comes from like there's superposition. So if you put a cat, it's Schrodinger's cat equation. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm saying it right. You put a cat in a box and you put poison in that box.
Mm-hmm.
Is the cat dead or alive?
Is the poison smell, or they gotta eat it?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's out there. So if the cat,
If the cat inhale the fumes, they die.
There you
the
go.
Mandela effect. That's what
I was going to the chat.
Okay.
We just talked about the Mandela effect. Is that?
Yeah.
So let's go around the room. Mandela effect. What is the Mandela effect that you feel like you've experienced?
Come back.
Okay, first explain.
Yeah.
So Mandela effect is something typically in the past where you felt it, either like something happened, and now in the future we recognize that it didn't happen in that way. So for an example, I'll use mine. The Jiffy peanut butter, right? I feel like it used to say Jiffy peanut butter, but apparently it didn't. It always said Jif peanut butter. JIF.
Hold on, it did.
I believe so too, but that's the Mandela effect. example. So
Hold on, they saying it always said Jill?
yeah, that's the so-called saying.
I feel like whoever's saying it wasn't, I feel like they aliens or something.
Right, but you
Like, I remember
you can't really find it. So it's like,
You ain't gonna know.
that's the weird part. It's like, whoa, like it's mind blowing, and it's a lot of examples like that. But that's mine. That's one of them. Yeah, it's just
It's possible.
What about you?
yeah. I mean, you have
I've
to
seen a lot of like the different logos and things like that.
Yeah, every time I see those videos, I agree with them. I be like, I remember that.
Yeah, but then I don't know if that's like, you know, what.
right. My
There's
play
something
is
like that.
so dangerous. I don't
There's
know.
also like, I know the video I'm talking about, but they were talking about 9/11, how it happened. So like,
Yeah.
this person was literally looking at it. Like, she said like, oh, do you remember what happened as a kid? And they were like, I don't know, like 13, 14 years old. I'm like, yeah, I remember exactly. And they told them all these things. And it was like, I looked through the window and I saw the planes crash and all this stuff. You go back to their house or that school that they were in when the thing happened, their windows pointed the opposite direction. So it's like they didn't even see it. So they remembered everything a certain way because of different things that stuck with them.
Yeah.
Because your brain will only remember like certain key points and then just make up the rest. And so that's why it's
hard. Yeah.
Is what? Cause
And it's true to both sides. One, where you can be remembering exactly what happened and just due to some odd circumstances, the world is now lying to you.
Exactly.
Or there's times where I've done this, you can believe a lie for so long that you believe it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like there are things that I had to be like checked on by people that experienced the same thing. Like, no, that's right. Like, dang, I remembered it this whole time, but it was incorrect.
Yeah, I don't have some experience like that.
Now, see, that's what's tough, man.
Yeah.
And there is the aspect of, so like I took a nice little mental trip, and I went down the state. My brother showed me something about like dimensions, the fourth dimension. So I was like, oh, bet. So I look at it, and they're trying to build like a 4D object, and it's basically like a square within a square and a 3D square.
Okay.
So if you basically create 4D, and essentially the road I got on is you basically take a 3D object and you move it. So if you think of like X, Y, Z, the planes, right? So if you think of 2D, it's like X and Y, and that's 2D, right? So that person can't see 3D. It doesn't know that this extra thing exists. So then you add another vertice, which is Z. Okay. So then it makes it like X, Y, Z. So then now you can move outward and inward. And you go left, right, you can go up, down, and you go in and out, right? But then if you take that object, like a 3D object, and move it, what do you get? That's time. So time would technically be the fourth dimension. Okay. So you're beyond time, so you can look at it. So you have to be able to look at life as if it's all happening at one time.
Right.
And so then that would be your fourth dimension.
Okay.
But then the question is, then there's more dimensions on top of that. But then it's like, all right, well, what if you get pushed to another timeline in that sense, where that's the Mandela effect?
So question, you know how they coming up with all these movies and it's so detailed, like of time travel or just like the Marvel's Avengers and stuff like that? Yeah, the multiverse. Do y'all think this stuff really exists? And if it exists, do you think they're really actually tampering with it?
What you just said, do exist? What was the question?
Multiverse, the multiverse, or just time travel, or
that's tough, man. That's a tough.
I think
quantum realm.
Yeah.
So quantum. All right, so it's interesting. So quantum physics does exist. We're now realizing, but it's kind of interesting the way we're.
But the realm, though, where you can go through it and.
Maybe not how
we can't leave here. We can't leave this realm though until we exit our vessel.
Oh, but so that's when the time travel.
But that's biblical, right? What you just said.
If we talking about realms, I mean, it could be spiritual, or you take a biblical.
No, I think that's biblical.
There is
not necessarily
where you're taken up to heaven. Like, so where is heaven? Is it in the physical plane? So there's an idea. So in the Bible, it talks about how angels have to leave and come back. So that means that in the Bible, so it would then mean that they're subject to time. Because like, hey, hold on, I'll be right back. I have to go do something. I'll come right back. So that means they work in 3D space. They have to go somewhere and then come back. Yeah. And then, so that would mean something. Then there's also the idea that they're at a different frequency in our dimension. If that makes sense. So
that we can't maybe see them.
Yeah, because we only see them like this bit of.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's hard, man. That's such a tough thing. It's also like back to what I was saying with the Schrödinger's equation. It's like, and partially like there's a phenomena called Thomas effect. If you're in research and you want to observe something, like let's say you're a manager and you're like, all right, are my people working? And so then you go there, you watch them and you just take notes and see if they're working. everybody's going to work more because you're there.
Yeah.
So your presence changes the environment you're observing.
Yeah.
And so then that's kind of hard too, where you look at the Schrödinger's cat equation, where it's like, is a cat dead or alive in the box? Once you open the box, you'll know it's either dead or alive. But when the box is closed,
it can be either or.
And
yeah.
The supersede, and then that's where you get the Mandela, because like you could be, if you said yes or no, you're in that middle, so it could be yes and no.
So speaking on that, right? Mm-hmm. You know the whole thing they used to say, if a tree is in the forest or the weirdness, and if it falls,
you make a sound. Yeah,
it doesn't make a sound, and you're not there.
Yeah, technically, no. Does it make a sound?
Technically, no.
There's no one there to hear up there.
Yeah, the only sound waves go through the air. If you don't have a receiver,
is it sound?
It can't be classified as sound, because the sound would be the definition of a wave touched a sensory object or a sensor, and then that sensor was interpreted. So the way like it hits the hairs in your ear and your cochlea vibrates.
So I feel like that whole little thing was designed to make y'all think so hard. Let me tell you how I know.
Yeah.
I was walking my dog the other day. This is the whole reason I asked this question. Yeah. I heard something in the tree. Boom. I said, damn, that branch just fell, and I heard it.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Because it said, does it make a sound? Bump if you there to hear it or not. Does it make a sound? Yes, it does.
Definition of sound.
Definition of sound.
I'm telling you, it's always sound. Sound is everywhere.
Receive it.
Yeah. Because wind can blow by your ear. It's just, in what your ear collects is just frequency, the vibrations through the air. So essentially, when we talk, all we are is vibrating the air around it, and it's vibrating inside of our.
So put it like this, right? You see how I hear you talking, right?
Yeah,
right.
Let's say if I'm not here, and it'd be like, when Matthew speak, does he make a sound?
If I was deaf, then no, because I can hear my sound.
Yeah,
that would just be your truth, the deaf person. However, does Matt make a sound? Yes, he make a sound. I just heard him make a sound when he speak.
Because you heard me.
Yeah.
So when I'm away, for the fact I have seen this and it has been proven.
Oh, so you're saying, but that doesn't always mean just because
I heard a tree branch fall. I know a whole big old tree make a sound.
Just because that tree branch falls doesn't mean that all tree branches will make a sound when they fall. They all gonna have different sounds. Just because of something.
They all gonna have different sounds. He just said, yeah, they all gonna have different sounds.
Different vibrations in the air.
Wow, see, it's designed to make you think so hard.
These thought-provoking questions. I remember when we did a test drive on a podcast a time ago, the question that we started off with, which we thought was genius because it was the first episode, like a pilot was. And I want to propose a question to both of y'all. Because I know your answer.
I forgot my answer, but go ahead.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
I thought about that the other day, too.
Go for it, bro.
The egg. Just how I would think.
Okay.
Am I right?
No, I mean, it's not.
How so? How does the egg come first?
How would you get a chicken without the egg?
How you get an egg without chicken?
No, I'm saying, how do you get the chicken without the egg, though?
How do you get
the egg without the chicken?
Yeah.
Someone got laid the egg.
It wouldn't be no chicken, though.
That's the question.
So what comes first?
The egg.
The egg. Okay.
What you said?
I haven't really come up with an answer. I know last time we talked, I said I would say the chicken, probably just because I'm basing it off of other animals, right? So it's like, okay, now animals lay eggs, right? So, and if I'm looking at it from a biblical standpoint, from a God standpoint,
well, the chicken came first, then.
That's that will be my only answer that I can to me articulate.
And you want me to tell you what's crazy?
Your evolution would be amoeba.
What if of course all this stuff was thought of, but what if all this was just the best answer some of these folks could have came up with? Because we all know, I believe in God, believe in the Bible, and I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we do know the Bible is the best-selling book ever, right?
Absolutely.
And it has been changed in
a million times.
Yeah. So it's
translation. Yeah.
It's what if all this shit wrong?
I will say this. I agree.
I don't think it'll be
not wrong, but like we just got the we got the wrong. Not saying wrong as in what they wrote was wrong, but just we got the wrong idea about how things really go.
I don't think it'll be our fault though.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be our fault.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. I think though that I think in reality there's some aspects, and we can go down multiple avenues. We fully described it, but I think there's a possibility that in life you can't lie. So there's an idea with karma, right?
You can.
You cannot, if you give bad karma, it's going to come back to you. So if you were to warn, so that's what they say, like, all right, if you want to go down conspiracy lane, where like the people now, that's why they warn you everything in all the movies and everything, like, hey, this was going to happen in a few years. That means once they tell you it could happen, then and it happens and you go along with it, then that means you consented to it, essentially. And so then they wash their hands. So if they say like, hey, I'm going to shoot you in 10 seconds. And then you're like, all right, I guess I'll just sit here because you're showing me a TV show and this is very entertaining. And then they shoot you in 10 seconds. They warned you already. So they told you could have. So the idea could be that in the Bible, they have to tell you the truth. They can make fun of it. They can do all that stuff. Because if you see the Olympics, apparently that's a big thing now. How they were like, making. But if you notice, a lot of things are very demon and Christian, right? And then Hinduism actually. So there's an idea too that when Jesus was 8 or 7 or something like that, they talk about him a little bit in the Bible. Then it disappears. Then he's 33. He's coming back on a donkey. You're like, oh, where was he these last few years? There's an idea he went to India, and then he went to a couple other places around, learning different teachings and different stuff. Okay. And so one of the few books that were taken out is in the Apocrypha. And so some people would say like that's not canon. It wasn't part of like who God wrote it. Yeah. But the people who did write it were King James, and they wrote it they were technically Catholic, I believe, or Protestant.
They say Shakespeare's in there too.
So yeah, there's some aspects that you could be like, all right, logically, can we make this make sense? But I do think though, in some aspects, and all these are theories in a sense, but it's like there is a sense where they can't tell the lie. And they have to tell you the truth at least about that. They can lie to you about everything else, but they can't tell you that. Because there's an idea in the Bible, right? So when you're trying to cast out a demon, he has to obey God. He has to obey Jesus. So if you come in Jesus' name, he has to do what you say. And so like that's why like a guy goes to, I don't know if it's the Legion story, but I remember a guy goes to cast out a demon, and the demon's like, we know these other people you mentioned, but who are you? You have no blessing behind you. And then they came into him, and then the demon possessed him. Okay. And then there had been another guy who came who actually knew what he was talking about and then came in. So, but I think it is possibly, in a sense, true in some aspects. Because if you look at some of the things that it does show, it is kind of happening nowadays. There's some revelations.
Nothing new is under the sun, right? So I mean, it's a lot in the Bible that I mean, almost everything. I don't know if there's anything in the Bible that like hasn't happened in some form, right? But so I'm not Christian, right? And so I grew up Christian though. I was born in the Christian church. My mother is Christian. She's Christian.
He's Islamic too.
She used to go to church like 4 times a week, all the time. Lived in like knew the Bible front and back, like, and even what you're speaking on the Bible now, like I feel bad because I'm not as educated, not from like a religious standpoint, but I just want to be knowledgeable. It's been a while since I've read it. It's been a while since I brushed up on it, and I mean, having a lot of conversations recently that makes me go, you know what, I'm going to start reading it more just so I can be abreast.
So what do you get out of the Quran? Oh, go ahead.
But I just want to answer your question. So to address your question of like how do we know it's real, or like what do we do about it, I would say just to give credit to like the pastor I grew up in, the church I grew up in Philadelphia, Pastor E.W. Hill. She has a saying that she like pretty much say almost every sermon, but even like for the people who are disbelief or questioning it, right? She would rather follow it and get to the end and find out that it's not real than the opposite, right? Yeah. Not follow it, get to the end and find out that it is real. Yeah. Right? And so for people who have like that question, to me, like that's my only answer. It's like, I don't know, of course, and I would never tell you is right. I would never tell you which way to go religious.
No, you just said something else.
But what's the risk for you? Like, would you rather believe it and then find out it's not real, or not believe it and then find out
the risk is regret.
The risk is hell.
No, I get that. But I'm saying, like, if a person followed this Christian guideline and they get to the end and find out it's just flowers and gold and it's.
But is it
no matter?
I'm playing.
No, I'm just saying. No, it ain't that much regret.
Yeah.
But you'll have that one dude in the head.
Wanted to hit that girl.
Yeah, you'll have that one dude like, dang, I could have hit 10 more women, or I could have really took. Like he made me that mad. I wanted to knock him off this earth. I could have. You feel me?
I could have. Yeah.
And then you got some people that are knocking folks off this earth, and they feeling bad inside. You see what I'm saying?
And we should. I mean,
yeah, they should. But he's saying like they feeling bad, like, cause put it like this, right?
Talking about like guilt.
Yeah. So like, put it like this, right? My engine went hot the other day, so I had to tow my car from work to the shop, and the tow guy that came. Like I had so much going on. I was arguing with my girl, then I'm at work, and boom, then I'm trying to get the car taken care of, and then I gotta go to work tonight. You see what I'm saying? So it's like he trying to talk. I'm like, all right, bro, let me pay y'all real quick. Let me finish this one message real quick with my girl, and then we can talk. Yeah. So we get to talking, and he ends up telling me like he went to prison for 2 homicides. And he was saying like he liked to talk to young brothers that seem to doing something positive, because he picked me up from a recreation center. Okay, good. So he was like he liked to talk to brothers like that and get their take on things that made better decisions than he did. So he was saying when he wake up, he still can smell the flowers and see everything, but he was like, the flowers don't smell as good as they used to. I don't see things as good as I used to. It don't feel as good as I used to, because he's responsible for taking 2 people off this earth. Yeah. So it's that damnation he feel, because I think he Islamic. But he became that in prison. But I think he was Christian. But you still that damnation, like, damn, I done fucked up my So it's like, what if you get there and you still accept it to the good part of whatever's next? Yeah. So it's like you went through life feeling like that crushed when you probably changed as a person.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fair off. I think that's a good trade. Like, you kill 2 people.
But what if it was self-defense? Well, in his case it wasn't. But what if it was self-defense?
No, if it was self-defense, you probably won't carry that same guilt. Yeah. Right? But like for him,
some of them folks still do.
All he can do is carry guilt. He's a free man. Like,
I think, but there's something where
yeah, so some consequences for your actions. Yeah,
it's kind of like that too, like where it's like you kind of gotta live with what you do, right? Yeah. Like, so for instance, like if you want to go out and party all the time, you want to go out and like not train or something like that, but then you expect to win the race, that ain't gonna happen, right? It's just more of like, yeah, I get it. Like if whether you believe in God or not, or whether you go to heaven or not, it's more of like there's certain natural laws of just being a good person. It's kind of like my idea is like there's a Bible verse I kind of build off my way of life, my Tao, if you want to call it. But it's like James 4:17. It's like, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and do it not, to him it is sin. So it's basically, you know better, do better. Yeah. So if you can accomplish anything in your life, I try and put my effort towards anything I can, just without intentionally negatively hurting someone. So as long as I didn't intentionally negatively hurt someone, or be like so oblivious, like, oop, I didn't know I did that. But like, I generally just try and be a good person, then you should not have anything to feel bad about. But if you find like, okay, maybe you're disrespectful to someone, or you call, you're mean to someone, or you beat someone, or something like that, then it's like, you have to live with those actions, because now you put that onto someone else. Yeah. So like, let's say you kill somebody, you took someone's family, you took someone's kid away, you took someone's mother, or whatever. And so then to yourself, yes, I'm not saying you should be able to turn and change as a person, and you shouldn't let it weigh you down to think like, because even all the mistakes you make in your life, you weren't that person, you're still a new person, you learn from those mistakes, but you can't also just be like, you can't erase that, start the game over. But I get what you mean. Like, I think there is some guilt, yes.
But it doesn't have to weigh you down to depression. Like, you can live through it.
That kind of goes into like, it's kind of funny, like American and with Christianity, and I believe it's Christianity caused it, and the old school of thinking is like, you can create a shadow of certain obstacles that we all face. Like, for instance, I believe in America, that's why we have a lot of sexual weird thing going on and all this stuff. Everything's based in sex now. It's because
what is that, a show?
Yeah, okay. But it's all I think it's because a lot of times you develop a shadow. In Christianity, sex was looked so down upon that when people felt to do it, they did it in the shadows.
Yeah.
They separate it to themselves, like, all right, you're my bad side. And then you keep making that. And they joke about it and they talk about it. Jordan Peterson, he's a psychologist. He talks about it similar to like a dragon. It's like a baby dragon, and a kid sees it under the bed. Like, there's something under my bed. And the parents like, be quiet, ain't nothing under your bed.
Right.
And then time goes on, it's like, this thing is under my bed. And it keeps getting a little bigger. It's like, there's something under my bed. Your parents like, nah, ain't nothing under your bed. Chill out. Then it gets in your closet because it's too big for the bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's in my closet now. It's fine. Ain't in there. Ain't nothing in there. And then eventually there's a big ass dragon wrapped around inside the house. And you're all walking around it and going to the place you need to. And it's like, that could be skeletal closets, and that can be your shadow as well, where like you haven't integrated.
And then hopefully that dragon ain't vicious.
Oh, that thing gonna eat you until it gets big enough to eat everybody.
Yeah, you talking about walking around and you ain't gonna go in the house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, metaphor. But, it'd be like that. But that's one thing. I think there's a lot of times where people are developing things they want to do, but they don't feel like they should. But
do you guys still face fear? But sleeping.
You said what was the question?
Do you face fear? Do you still face fear? You gotta talk for the next 10 minutes.
Nah, I done already went through my most painful fears I think I done been through. So I don't fear nothing no more.
Yeah.
So can't that really make me fearful for real.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, those conversations I never really had. Like I know plenty of people that's been through it, but I never really like had those neat conversations about it, like after and stuff. So yeah, that's good to hear.
For sure.
I was curious to know like what's life like after. Yeah.
Oh, that's a question?
Yeah.
Oh.
You kind of answered it like you said.
Well,
really
elaborate.
I don't want to because I don't.
Cause we don't know if you want to talk or not.
Yeah,
I don't even know what we talking about. I know my answer that I just gave. I'm just saying, what are y'all referring to though?
Going through your situation.
Yeah, your situation.
You don't want to talk about it. Or at least the aftermath.
They talking you like you retarded.
I'll tell you.
Situation. No, you good.
Yeah.
They still doing it.
Don't be quiet. You talk about it, you don't want to talk about it.
But you ain't talking though. You
Okay.
You having the problem.
I don't know. I don't really know what to speak about that though.
Where's your mindset at? Like, where was it from there to where you feel now? Or like,
I'm in a way better place now.
Yeah,
way better place.
Like, what were you thinking?
No way. I needed to be around.
Yeah.
For real. But now I'm in a way better space now though.
How so? What do you think is healed or changed?
Myself.
Yeah, what about it?
I was saying you said what has healed and changed.
Yeah.
Myself.
Like full.
You giving me short answer.
No, I'm telling you,
I think I knew exactly what you mean. You mean
elaborate
the fullness of it.
In order for you to change, you got to change yourself.
Yeah.
So through that process, whatever that your flaws is with you as an individual, you got to get rid of that first. And once you get rid of that, then all the other stuff just come together. If that makes sense, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You fix the source, everything else changes.
Nah, for sure.
Downstream.
For sure.
Yeah, I get that.
And see what crazy is, how you were just answering, nobody would have known that answer would have came out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The conversation that go on in my head, it be too different. So I don't be knowing if when I do speak that y'all getting that side of the communication in my head.
I'm following you.
Yeah,
Listening. We trying to hear you talk, but
That's fun to be like.
yeah, you keep going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you talk
Try to talk away, I can't understand. I'm trying to understand anything.
Look, he'll be like myself.
When he said heal myself, you guess what?
I'm like, what he's going with?
Mentally, but also physically. Like,
True to essence. I like good epiphanies. It's always good to have them. It's always good to run into obstacles. You just don't hope those obstacles aren't so bad that you got to deal with.
I was about to say, do y'all feel like we're the aliens?
No. Of what? Like,
Because like think about it, like not even think about it. I ain't even trying to convince you that we are. It was really, I just heard the question somewhere.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about like how sometimes like we can get stabbed or shot and still like you have to do things a certain way to end all. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can survive things, you can survive broken bones and heal and just snap back and yeah, like you probably can't grow it back, but if you break all this, you can put it back and it get back right. Like
so, I don't think we're aliens. I think we're humans.
Yeah,
I think
anatomy is crazy.
People, underestimate humans and what I would attribute to like God, power, and creation. God, regardless of the religion, there's not a person walking this earth that can convince me that there isn't a power, a higher power that created this. There's not a scientist that walked this earth that breathed any ounce of air that can lay out anything to make me think we all derived from the Big Bang Theory. Right?
So what's your definition of God?
So for me personally, God is a higher power, not a human. A spirit, to put in words for us to understand. I guess that is what I would consider God.
Entity.
Yeah. And I would like to think it's one entity, like one spirit, one thing, right? But
Christianity say three.
That's and of course I'm of a different faith, and that's where I would oppose it.
Christianity does say one.
It's exactly. It's one too, so it's conflicting. Yeah, I mean, if you have,
or maybe that's the Mandela effect.
Right, we're not there now.
I think there's something deeper to Christianity that people overlook, because in the Bible they go metaphorical and then they go literal.
Yeah,
and they bounce around. And I think people pick and choose what they want to consider literal and what they want to consider metaphorical, whatever makes most sense to them at the time. And then they teach that and then they say you're wrong if you don't think.
You do know that. You do.
What?
I know, nah. But you do know like Christianity is man-made, right?
Our religion is man-made.
Yeah, our religion is man-made.
Yeah, it was written by people.
Yeah, very much.
No, I'm saying it's man-made. Like man said.
Yeah, exactly. The book.
These who follow Christ are Christians.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I think he's saying like it's not come from God at all. No, I mean,
it's man-made.
So
that's whatever you believe, for real.
That's just like Islamic, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess what
it
the
was
difference
started.
is that you're wondering if it's inspired by God or did God put the words there through that person?
Right.
Or
so can I propose a question?
Yeah.
Because I actually had this question a while ago I wanted to ask. Well, this is laying right to it. This might be my answer. So this show is about spirit, right? It's about experiences and whatnot. What do you all individually think is something that's like, in regards to spirit or outside of human nature, supernatural, that you would like base your life on as being real, like tangible, like I'm not gonna say tangible because tangible you got to touch it, but like something that you will pretty much die on the fence or cross about.
I'm talking about like a belief system.
Belief system when it comes to spirit specifically, or something outside of human nature, something supernatural. I don't want to like put too many, like I don't want to narrow it box it in.
So what's some things when you go to sleep and they come try to talk you out your
paralysis?
They come try to talk you out your body.
Yeah, sleep paralysis.
And then you can if you fall for it, they can replace you type of thing.
So I heard this. So there's a few things with that. So I've heard two things. So another brother, perks having a lot of siblings, I look up random stuff. So there's an option, it's called remote viewing. And you're able to come out of your body and view your body, and then you're able to travel somewhere or look at something and then come back into your body. Apparently the CIA did it back in the 70s, all this hush-hush under the rug thing. And apparently here's the theory that humans can remote view. You just have to be at a certain frequency. You have to do certain things, and there's little things you have to do to get you to that point or be really sensitive for that. And this guy wrote notes on how to do it. And he said during doing it, he felt like there was some entity there watching him. And what he realized is that entity was his own self, his ego. So he had to shed his ego that I am this body for his soul to separate from it. Yeah. And then that way he can look. So, but he said it was scary. Like it's a sleep paralysis demon essentially. But there also is the idea that it has been thought of that, yes, when you leave your body, a demon can't come into it. So I don't know exactly. I know what you're saying, but I know there are sleep paralysis demons, and I've had those when I was a kid. You can't move.
Yeah, I had that too.
And that's what
physically though, you can attest to.
That's what that's called.
Your body separates.
That's what that's called. Like you can't move.
Yeah, sleep paralysis. Yeah.
Man, I done had that before.
Physically, if you talk to a scientist, they're like, "Oh, it's because your body will disconnect from itself so that you don't act out your dreams, right?" Yeah. But then spiritually, you're like, "Oh, something else."
Yeah, but I really couldn't move. I remember that.
And if you do if you ever do psilocybin or shrooms, DMT, LSD, all that stuff, you have ego death, then you also see something like this can't be explained. And you have a bunch of scientists who are all like logic based, who are like, no, this is the way of the world. Yeah. And then they do LSD or shrooms or something like that, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't explain it. So that's something you would.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I had to think about it.
That's not the spiritual that you believe 1,000%. All right.
That would be awesome.
No, I haven't said mine.
Okay, I thought that was fine.
But so basically my situation was one time I had, went to sleep, but like I woke up, couldn't move, and I'm just looking up. Didn't see nothing. I heard it. And then it was basically, asking to kind of, I couldn't really, because I was like playing, because I was like, I know what this is. Like, nah, hell nah. Like, I'm talking shit. But I'm thinking I'm dreaming or something. Yeah. So it's talking to me like a friend, but I can't really recall. But basically, it was trying to take my place type of thing. So, kid you not, I wake up. No, I ain't wake up. I go back to sleep. From that, whatever that was, I go back to sleep. And probably like, I wake up, I can't walk. Like, I'm crawling. Like, I got a fever, don't know I got a fever. I'm cold. I'm super, super cold. Yeah. Like, I'm crawling. Then, next thing you know, like, realize I'm hot. So I got a fever. But it's like, bro, I went to the hospital, I almost died if my fever would have went 2 more up. But then, knowing from that, like, sometimes just seeing from where I was then into where I'm at now, like, bro, I done crossed so much devilish shit, bro. Like, just in the world. Like, maybe in the environment, or just how people act, or just, you got death over here, just like, it's just like,
or to avoid and all that.
It's not even that. It's just like, what's all out here for real? Like, what I believe is, there's some other stuff we can't see. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whether it's good or bad, because we don't know. Mm-hmm. But like, it's something else that we can tap into, but we probably just drinking too much and smoking too much and eating the wrong food. Yeah. And not really getting our mind right, or got too much distraction, news, music, whatever the case, or shit going on with our personal life, to where we ain't even what they call them people monk. We ain't even
they say we
in that state.
1% of our brain.
Yeah.
So who knows what will happen if we can tap into a large portion of that, right?
I mean, so that's another. I mean, here's another theory. Yeah. There's another theory that they cut those pieces out of the Bible because. So if you accept the Bible, let's say you accept the Bible, right? And you say that the Bible is correctly, it's all true and all that. Yeah. That means magic exists.
Absolutely.
So that means that you're able to take things that are dead and bring them back alive. You're able to do different things, but you have to do certain mantras or spells. Yeah. And so if that's the case, then it would still be possible today, technically. So it's just that you need to, there's a certain idea that you have to have not only just a flow, like someone has to give you the power, you also have to say the right words. And so if you have those two, then you can. But if you miss the words, because no one taught you the words because they're taken away, because no one knows God's true name either. There's only a few people in the Bible that knew it. And then also, what is that power? Is it the Holy Spirit? Is it,
Right.
and that and the other? And they might have broken up as the Holy Spirit so that we could better understand it. That's why he split into three so that we can okay, this makes sense. It's like the Son came down, he saved us, then he left us the Holy Spirit, but then there's God that always existed, he's up there. And so it keeps you simple,
Yeah.
There's an idea that the earth, we are just the earth trying to understand itself. It creates us just to look at itself, because you can't look at, it's kind of like when you psychoanalyze yourself, you have to look at yourself as a third party in order to look at yourself. And so then you have to also, you reaffirm your ego, because then you have to place yourself in a time to say okay, this is who I am. This is a summation of who I am. This is who I am. Let me then analyze that self. Yeah. And you're the analyzer too. So it comes back to what we talked about.
Judge and jury.
Exactly. But what I was getting at is, it's interesting. There's so many aspects that we don't know, so it's hard to even formulate an actual opinion. But I do agree. I think there is something spiritual. I don't watch horror movies. I don't know.
Me neither. I do.
I don't know because I'm a child. Because as a kid, we heard about demons. Yeah. It could be.
Bro, is this one called "Let Me In"? No, oh my goodness. Bro, they hold on. I think this the one they hold on to the hand. I seen two on that night. Yeah. No. But it's like they hold on to the hand and they say the words, and then you kind of shit like that. Yeah. And then, but when you get to doing that, you see the person on the other side.
I mean, the Exorcist,
because it's like give you the hand. But
listen, that and the Conjuring.
Listen. This is the whole trick to it. If you do it too long, that person gets stuck in your body, and then it's and then once they get stuck in your body, they take over at any time, and they just do the craziest stuff to you. They probably bash your head in 1,000 times, and they're leaking. You probably be in the hospital bed, busted up, and they still gonna do some crazy stuff to try to kill you or whatnot, or something.
That's for mental disorder.
Now, on the other hand, it was something that happened. The person that do it too often, or it gets stuck in your body and is in there for too long, you end up going on the other side of that hand, and you gotta, when the people call you, you're a slave to that. You come and then now that person is trying to take over your body. But it was that was a whole movie. My thing is, where they getting these ideas from?
So that's not.
It gotta be real.
So that's the idea where they come back to the Bible in a sense, where it's if you look at a lot of stuff that goes on now, most people pull from something. If you look at when they talk about Beethoven, when they teach it, they're breaking down somebody who was just free flowing. He was just hey, I'm doing my thing, and now we just copy whatever people do. We oh, this is the best frequency that attracts people's minds. That's why pop, I think, is the most popular. Yeah. I think it's the way the frequencies of beats. It's the most thing that's good for people. But it's we don't reinvent anything. We take something and we add it and we mix it to other stuff. So
because that's genius.
So partially it kind of gets you in a conundrum and a little catch-22, but they say it ain't going to be, it's not true unless you believe it.
Yeah.
And so there is some aspect to it where it's you can manifest something because you believe in it. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I get it. You can't be well, God's not here or God's not inside you because you don't believe he's real. So I get it. So it forces you to believe it and you're I get it. But there is something in that where if you believe in yourself to be a loser, or you believe negative thoughts about yourself, then you will manifest that characteristic.
Absolutely.
And it's just stuff like that. So I do believe that's kind of awesome too. Or I think people have certain, you can't not believe in the Bible and not believe in certain things. There's shamans, there's people that can do magic, there's things that, you have certain possibilities and things you can control, but we're so far removed from it, or they removed it from our ability to touch onto it or tap into it. And so that's one reason why they think they took some of the stuff out of the Bible, because if you talk about the Apocrypha, it talks about how Jesus was kind of an asshole a little bit as a kid. They said he was they said Jesus was playing, and he's a child.
I would love to read it.
Godly powers. They said Jesus was sitting and playing with these kids, and this one kid was coming over there and bullying him because he was weird, and then he was from the dust you're here, the dust you shall wither, or something like that. The kid just withers and dies, and then the parents run over, and those parents yo, what are you doing? You can't just kill people. You have to bring him back life, because he's I'm a carpenter. If people realize that you're out here killing my, I won't have any customers. And so then the mother and the parents come around like, you suck, or what's going on? And so then Jesus like, fine, you come back to life, and brings them back to life. And then the kid like, So like, and there's multiple stories of this. Like they lose Jesus, and he's in the temple preaching to the Pharisees, and the Pharisees were like, how are you teaching us? You don't even know your ABCs. And he's like, do you even know what A means? This is what A means, actually. And so it's just things like
wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
I would love to tap in that type of knowledge, though. Like,
that's
what does A mean?
Exactly, yeah. So there's another thing actually I recently just listened to. It's a cool story, and I'll explain it real quick. So in Hinduism, there's a guy named Shiva. He's like the god of destruction, and y'all might probably hear of him. He's like basically, he'll come and destroy, but he's the one that destroys right before birth comes. And he actually represents consciousness too. And so it's a whole nother thing. And so he was married to a woman named Sati, and she has power within her, right? And her dad didn't like the bond between the two, because Shiva's kind of a dickhead. He does get pissed and he'll just kill people because he has a short temper. Yeah. And so, but then he'll be nice and he'll like fix them somehow, right? And so basically, she didn't like him. I mean, the dad didn't like him, and so did not invite either of them to the party that he had. And so then she was like, "Fuck it, I'm going." And then she was like, "I don't give a fuck. You can go. I ain't going." Yeah. And so she goes. Her dad said something disrespectful about Shiva, and in Hindu culture, like, the wife is dedicated to the husband, so she was like, fuck that, you ain't gonna talk about my man. So then she jumps on the fire, burns everything up, and then dies. Shiva gets pissed, he comes, kills everybody. Right. And he's like, hell no. Not only does he kill people, but back in the day they have mantras. And mantras in Hindu culture is like how you exert power, how you call on the power of other gods or whatever you call it, certain deities. And so that's how you get your power, kind of like a spell, if you want to call it. Sati, which was a girl who died, when she died, Shiva took her up to heaven. Her brother basically, the story is he cut her off in 51 pieces. Okay. And this is Sanskrit language, which is a lot of these old texts are written in. Yeah. And there's 51 alphabets. He broke her into 51 pieces. So she became the mantras that she destroyed, if that makes sense. Yeah. And so essentially in the alphabet, there's certain vocals that you can do. That's why you go Om, and it means different things, different vibrations.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And so exactly like who is it? Nikola Tesla said, if you ever want to understand the universe, it's in vibration, frequency. Yeah. And so like it's just things like that, right? So like no one knew God's name. Only a few people know, and if you know it, you can do stuff. They said some apostle figured like recent, like in the 1700s, wrote the name of God. Figured out the name. He put in a dead kid, and the kid came back alive. He took the paper out, and the kid died. And it's like, so there's different powers and different words. And stuff like that.
Man, you just made me realize I don't know nothing.
I don't know about the incarnate.
Real quick, right? So I know, grew up with you. Then again, I've been picking your brain for a minute. You've been picking mine, and then over time, I got to pick your sibling brain. Mm-hmm. So who you feel is the smartest out of you all?
Intellect's difficult
because you're very, very smart. And if you hear,
I know you like to be humble, but go ahead.
If you hear David talk, he got a very wide range of knowledge.
He's good too.
I'm interested to be his family now. Like,
no, like bro, all of them. Even Mark with cars, like
him. Oh my God!
Listen, I come around with him, and we listening to them talk.
It's fun. Sit back, suck it up, throw a little bit in there,
and then we don't listen too much. They hear me talk like, oh, you is a little bit intelligent. So who the smartest?
I mean, I think I do have the highest drive for knowledge. I'll say that way. I'll give it that way.
Highest David?
Good PC.
Ooh, I think David's more spiritual than I, which is weird because I'm pretty spiritual too. But I think David went down the road of like shamanism, which is like mirror. You can do magic and stuff like that.
Where is he on the?
He's number 7. He's right underneath me.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and him, we're actually close. No, we used to fight the most. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. They always told us that too. But no, I say like out of us two, we're probably the most to deep think about stuff like this, like outside of the box in a sense, yeah. But I will say like, I went to school route. I'm the only one. I went and got my master's and all that.
What's the brother-sister ratio?
5'3". And
wait.
Boys. 5 boys, 3 girls. And the girl's the oldest, the youngest, and in the middle. So it's like,
I'm a Libra, yeah. It's my family, yeah.
So this how we gonna wrap it up. Who the slowest?
brother.
Who the slowest?
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, same, man. I would say, man, it's difficult to say the slowest. Oh, man, that's tough. I would say the one
You gonna turn your mic off and shit?
Oh, that's already off.
Oh, it's already off? Yeah, he said it better than that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was already off. My bad. I'm sorry. Damn, man.
Yeah. I knew it was there. I seen him cut it back on.
Oh, really?
But they done look. He said the youngest one the slowest one. So to wrap this up,
they trying to catch
cause they didn't see him cut the camera back on. I seen the whole little thing. So really, we were just talking right then and there. But beyond the flesh.
Oh yeah.
Part 2 coming soon.
Yeah, part 2 coming soon, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the guys at the jail, cause every time I walk in there, y'all tell me like y'all watching, y'all rocking with the podcast. Hey, it got me back here. It brought me back here. So everybody, fab, everybody, love y'all for sure.
Peace.